Hi everyone. Did you miss us?
I think so.
I think so. I think you missed us. But we're back. We're back with videos. It's repotting season, so we're going to be talking about repotting. And since we tend to ramble,
yes,
just a little bit, we're really passionate about this plant stuff. We decided that we're going to break down into different videos for repotting. So this is the first one. Yeah. And the first one is what?
Signs to repot. So the plant, the plant signs that it wants you to repot it.
Yeah, basically. And whether or not you should.
Or not. Which most likely you won't need to.
Never. No, not never, but still. All right.
Almost never.
No, almost never. So the first thing I want to talk about is that I feel like the internet culture around plants makes people feel pressure to repot. Like, there's so many people that always are like, oh, I need to repot this plant so it looks good, and everyone's concerned about their plants looking good, and they don't think about what the plant needs. And so many people bring their plant home and repot it right away, which is bad, and they repot it inappropriately, and but then they really want to gram it, and they want to show everyone, and then you have some YouTubers that are like, you should only have all white pots, and then people get all white pots, and it's just ridiculous. And so I sort of hate that part of the internet culture about plants, and definitely it's just people repot too much, and I feel like a big driver of that is the internet, like, making you feel like you need to. And we're here to tell you you don't need to.
Nope. No. It's actually more traumatizing for your plant to be moved from home to home to home, especially when you first bring it home. So we always say, at minimum 2 to 3 weeks for it to acclimate. But seriously,
longer.
It usually longer the better. Let it establish itself in that pot, and even be in there for years before you repot, because it's traumatizing for the plant, and sometimes can even lead to a slow and timely death.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's mean.
It is. I mean, it's just like if you kept moving your house, like you just moved, and then you're like, oh, I'm not even unpacked yet, and I'm moving again.
Exactly. And
it's
like the big giant is making you move, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's like I was just getting rooted here. Like, what do you mean? So there's definitely a culture around, the aesthetic of plants, which
which I want to rant about, but we won't.
We won't rant too long. It's just care about your plant's health more than its aesthetics.
Exactly. And one thing that I see a lot of people asking questions about are, what sort of pots that plants should be in, and is it fine in a nursery pot? And I don't know who started this rumor where plants can't be in nursery pots, but that's a big fat lie. I mean, what do you think the plant's been growing in that entire time? It hasn't been growing in a garden or in anything. It's been growing in the nursery pot. So that one just drives me crazy, where people think that they think plants can't be in nursery pots. And personally, I like mine in nursery pots because it's easier to tell when they need repotting. And it's good for overwaters, it's good for underwater, it's good for everyone, it's good for your plant.
It's honestly easier to get out too when you do have to repot.
Yeah, I've had to break plants out of ceramic pots in the past because of being too tight in their pots. Whereas in this one, you can say oh, is it tight in the pot? I don't know, whatever. And then also it's just easier to put your plants in different pots and see which one looks good. Just keep it in the nursery pot, like this one right here, and see if it looks good in this pot. If it doesn't, take it out and put it in another pot. So I love keeping mine in my nursery pots.
I do too. That's my Hoya Shepherdie, so you can see I also just keep them right in there. Thurium is right in.
All of mine are in slip pots. So he lives in here, and if I want another plant that's in a square nursery pot, I can do that. So keep them in your freaking nursery pots.
Please. Your plant will thank you.
It will.
But, to look at your plant and to decide, do I have to repot it or don't I? You can look at, assess it. Basically look at if it's healthy or not. This guy's in a large pot. You can see he's got some overwatering
Yeah, when you see that yellow rimmed brown, not 90, but most of the time it's overwatering.
Yeah, like and these little
or
spots,
staying too wet. Staying too wet or
so you need a chunkier mix.
Or a smaller pot.
Exactly, like this guy. So
these two are the exact same plant.
Yes, but this one is in a bigger pot and this one's in a smaller pot.
And the smaller pot one is healthier.
Way healthier. And it's actually, the leaves are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Because it's also tricking it into thinking it's more mature, which is really nice.
We're going to be down potting that one, I think, tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll down pot the other one. Pot. So as you can see, there is still soil there. It's not focusing, but it's
focusing
there.
on my face.
So what we want, yeah, there we go. What you want to look for is the ratio of soil to roots. This looks like there's about an even amount of both soil and roots. So this doesn't need a repot.
No.
You want to wait until there's more roots than soil, about 75% roots and 25% soil. That's when you want to repot.
I agree. And then a lot of people always freak out about roots coming out of the bottom of the pot. And they're like, oh, the roots are coming out, it must be over. I'm like, no, that's not true. So, so I brought my giant Anthurium crystallinum, this guy right here, and this one has roots coming out of the bottom of the pot, like you know, a good amount of roots and stuff like that. And I am not repotting it because I look at the plant and he looks perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, perfectly perky, and therefore I'm not going to repot it. You know, you want to evaluate your plant, and if it looks fine and it looks healthy, it doesn't need repotting. And a lot of times you get these roots at the bottom of the pot if your plant is sitting on a catch tray, or in this case, it's in a cache pot. So this is a pot that has no holes. It's usually taken out to water, but then sometimes water drips to the bottom after I water it. And so there's gonna be more moisture on the bottom. And that's another thing, is more moisture, and it's always gonna be wetter at the bottom of the pot. So this is why I really don't like the finger trick about telling whether or not your plant needs watering. Because if you stick your finger up here, like, oh, it's dry, but down there, it's always wetter because gravity, water goes down. And so that's why the roots are always at the bottom of the pot like that too, because they're seeking the moisture, and the moisture's at the bottom of the pot.
Same with my shepherding.
Yeah, this guy is doing the same thing, and this is a Hoya.
See. There it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's no way a Hoya is ever really like overpotted. Like, they're in the same pots for like 50 years and they're fine.
And
so
I won't repot this. Like, maybe if the roots get a little, I might take it out, add some more at the bottom, and then put it back in. I'm not gonna change its entire pot.
No, you don't do that. And then another thing that you want to do is feel the size of the pot. So this is one of the Anthurium forgetii that we have for sale here in the store. So I like to feel the size of the pot, and you can see that this is really malleable, right? So I can move it, it's soft. If I try to slip it out, oh, well, it doesn't fall apart. But look at the healthy, look at that. This is why I love Anthurium roots. They're so cute, and they're fuzzy, and it's not, oh, I love them. Okay,
but
so
as you can see,
it's falling apart.
Off. Yeah.
So therefore it doesn't need to be repotted. I just love fuzzy Anthurium.
I know, I love
so cute.
You make me want Anthuriums.
Whereas we have this snake plant right here, and you can see the pot is actually distorted, and that's fine because that's what snake plants do. And if you want a bigger and fuller snake plant, or ZZ, and many plants, you keep them in a tighter pot. Right. But this is like an example to show you, like, I can't move this because this baby is coming up and taking up that room. I never repot my snakes or my ZZs also, like, ever, until like literally they will break the pot, and that's when I repot them.
So this guy's, yeah, it's like so stuck in there that it's hard to get out. But
he's actually kind of loose in there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
But that'll show you how little you have to, like, you know, repot.
Yeah, so he's still, you can see there's still more soil than roots, so he doesn't need to be repotted.
Yeah, I always tell people when they come in with their snake plants, it's like, nope, that soil is not filled with snake plants. You can wait, or else you're gonna rot it out. Just because, you know, all of that soil gets moisture, you know, moisture soaks it up, and then it rots out because the plant's not using it all. But Also with plants, a lot of people think, you know, oh, the plant's so big compared to the pot, like you have to repot it, right? That's not at all true. Again, here's her Monstera elbow, and look how tiny that pot is. And even if
how big that plant is.
Yeah,
he's a big plant in this tiny little pot.
Little tiny pot.
Tiny pot.
But also, like, especially with plants like this, just like we showed this, it tricks the plant into thinking it's actually more mature.
So if you want fenestrations on your Monstera, keep them in a tight pot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Assess the roots when you think that it's gonna. Again, it's about 50-50. It does not.
I feel like it's more, but I keep my Monsteras like freaking tight. So.
Yeah, but like when it's no soil almost.
No, true. Because like the big one, when I got him, and also when I got Grendel, both of those had literally
like no, it was all
soil.
roots.
It was all roots, and they were fine.
Super healthy, besides the pest that came with them.
So you always want to keep your Monsteras as tight as possible, especially if you want big fennies.
Yeah, and always, you know, if you're just going by the plant, that's not gonna give you any, you know, actual, I don't know what's the word. Idea of So if you look at the size of the plant, it's not going to give you a proper idea of
this is a good example going on too. The philodendron melanononi.
Philodendron meloni. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The size of the pot is not. I mean, the size of the plant is not going to actually tell you if it should be repotted. The roots are where to look at.
Yes. So the next video we're going to cover choosing the right pots for your plants.
And then after that, it'll be soil mixes?
Oh no, soil mixes. Yeah, so we're gonna do soil mixes and which soils and what soils. And then after that, we're actually gonna show you how to repot. But that's why this is a short video. Only.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's short compared to the whole series,
exactly.
Which would be like 2 hours.
All of this would be like a whole freaking whatever. Anyway, so when should you repot? Never!
At least not for years.
No. All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Have a wonderful day.
See ya.